What is going on, YouTube? How you guys doing tonight? Welcome to another call on Tyrone. Here with Luke from Alabama Locked On Podcast. How you doing tonight, Luke?
I'm doing great, man. Also, superstar show title, Erica Badu.
Yeah,
The
man.
old song, man. That's badass. I dig it.
Hey man, had to use my name to an advantage. Yeah, nice win for Georgia. Yeah, you guys beat Clemson. I think Georgia Tech beat Clemson tonight. That's a horrible thing to say for Clemson, but I think they got beat up when they played Georgia. I think that kind of sort of took some momentum out of this win. But the main game I want to talk about, because Luke is here, and of course we have Blake in the building. He's a Florida fan, so we're gonna talk about this Florida Georgia matchup. Florida Alabama. I don't know why I said Florida Alabama. Luke, you can go ahead and go, because for my eyes, I'm a Georgia fan, and this year, I don't want to say anything bad about Alabama because we never know come that time we play you guys, but this game was close. It was closer than I expected.
Well, I think it was closer than everybody expected. I mean, including Alabama fans, especially when Alabama is up 21-3 at the end of a first quarter. Usually, that's about the time teams start folding like Superman on laundry day, and Alabama just runs roughshod over them. That wasn't the case this time. And, coming into this game, that was something I was concerned about, because this is a very talented but inexperienced team just about all the way around. Maybe not as much on defense, but certainly offensively. Bryce Young has never been in an environment like that. The wide receivers have never caught passes in an environment like that. And, how many wide receivers made big catches today? Jamison Williams made a few. John Mechie may have made a few, and I think JoJo Earl had one. But really, it was two running backs, both Brian Robinson and Jason McClellan, getting receptions for touchdowns. And then the tight end, Jaleel Billingsley, came in and got a receiving touchdown. Kudos to Florida is all I'm going to say. Look, I think in the SEC, we've all grown accustomed to, and I just saw the SEC network show, that's the SEC final, and I thought Gene Chizik brought up a lot of good points, where it seemed like the other hosts were saying, well, this Alabama team is missing that, and maybe they're not so good, and maybe they're not this. And Gene Chizik was like, wait a minute, guys. They just went into a top 11 team in the country, in their place, in a raucous environment, with a new quarterback, essentially new running backs, new receivers, some new guys on the offensive line, a lot of new stuff, and they still won. And somebody's got to get credit for that. I mean, we can dog Alabama all we want to for not blowing them out, but, that's only because Alabama set the bar so high. And I think that it speaks a lot to how Florida played. I think Florida played really well, and I don't want to take anything away from them by saying, oh, Alabama let a bunch of points go. That's not really what happened. I mean, Florida just played really well. This is the SEC. It's the best conference in the country. You have the best teams each and every week. And Florida just, man, they had a puncher's chance in this one. And kudos to them is all I can say. I'm not going to give you a lot of excuses as to why Alabama didn't win 55-3. I feel like Florida's a pretty dang good team.
Yeah, for Blake, that was like a heartbreaking loss, because you get the touchdown and then you go for the 2-point, which really didn't make sense to me, with 3 minutes left. I don't want to doubt Dan Mullen, because you guys love Dan Mullen, and that's your guys. But 3 minutes left, and mind you, Nick Saban played the clock perfect when he got the ball back. He played the clock literally the best he could. Gave you 40 seconds left, and I was like, see, if it was a 1-point game and then you would have had momentum still, I feel like you guys would have had momentum if you kicked the field goal. So for you, Blake, how did it feel with 3 minutes left, going for 2? You came all the way back, because I was thinking it was going to get ugly when they got 21-3. I was like, oh, this is going to get real ugly.
See, the difference between the game that we played just before last Christmas last year is I was expecting Florida to lose that game, especially coming off the LSU heartbreak with the whole situation regarding basically our playoff odds. It was us versus Alabama, and we were looking to both get in the SEC championship last year. And this year, I knew this year, this is no disrespect to Alabama at all, but this is the best time to get Alabama. A freshman quarterback, a new underclass team at their first road game in the SEC. Whenever you see Alabama get upset, it's always that earlier matchup. We saw it a couple of times in the Grove, Ole Miss, when those Laquan Treadwell teams beat them with those very young. I want to say Blake Sims was at the helm those 2 years, and I could be wrong. So I felt like it was the best chance to go beat Alabama. And as you mentioned, when it was 21-3 at the end of the third quarter, like, I'm a realist, I'm a loyal fan, I'll keep watching, but this is not going to be an interesting game by the end. I think this huge factor a lot of people didn't bring up is that 2-point conversion. I think Luke can speak on this too. Is the clock had humongous issues that last few minutes of the game, where the official after each play was having to name how much time was left, and the players had no idea. All they could see was the clock running. So when there was 10 seconds on the game clock, Florida forgot that the clock was stopped, and they just rushed a 2-point conversion. Absolutely, they had no idea what they were doing, and that cost us a tie game. I will say, T, I do disagree on the part of you saying to go for one. Because ultimately, it still would have been the same result. We would have been down one with like 6-7 seconds left.
Yeah.
So that really trumps that opinion. But yeah, there's a lot of things Florida didn't do well. To beat Alabama, you have to play pretty much perfect. And Florida, while playing maybe A ball, they didn't play A+ ball. And ultimately, that's where you come short.
Yeah. I think for a lot of people, especially watching from the outside, because Georgia, all the other SEC schools were like, this was to start off SEC football week 3, which is when we start regular with an Alabama Florida matchup, that's a big game. That was going to be the game most and it was hard because I was like, I can't cheer for anybody. Like, I can't cheer for Alabama and I can't cheer for Florida, so I'm just sitting here like, I had to watch it as an analyst type because I was just like, I wanted to see who was going to win this game. I wanted to see who's just going. And I like Bryce Young. I do like Bryce Young, but he has some inconsistencies that you saw today. It was like, okay, the receivers were okay. All around the game, it was a great game. Florida's defense is going to be one of the tougher defenses Georgia plays this year. If Georgia plays Alabama in the ACC championship, that game is going to be fun. I put that's going to be a game I think a lot of people will watch. For you, Luke, I don't know if you watched the Georgia game tonight, but I know South Carolina isn't a comparable matchup. But what have you seen from this Georgia defense that scares you going into if we play you guys in the SEC championship?
Well, I do believe Georgia has the best defense in the country. I think they've proven that. Although maybe some of the luster is off of it because DJ Uiagalelei and Clemson have only been able to do things like put up 14 points against Georgia Tech today, a team that lost to Northern Illinois. So, but the transitive property in football is something everybody loves to use, and I don't think it works. Look, the one thing you need to remember with the Alabama-Florida game today, and I think it was highly advantageous to Florida, was that the weather had been an issue. Now, it wasn't raining during the game, but the field was pretty soaked. I mean, that was pretty clear. And I think that was certainly advantageous to a team with a running quarterback like Florida, who's a bigger Emory Jones is fast, but he's maybe a bit more of a plotter, sort of a stronger guy, and versus Alabama, which is got some younger wide receivers that are inexperienced, that may not know about playing in that environment, etc. So again, not making any excuses. I mean, Alabama won. There's no excuses to be made. But I think that it was just one of those situations that it was the perfect recipe to beat Alabama today, and Florida almost took advantage of it. Now, going back to Georgia for a second, I would like to see I think Georgia's got some of the same problems Alabama does. Not all the way around, but I think they mirror each other very well. First of all, the defenses are very comparable. If I think that Georgia has the best defense in the country, I would argue Alabama's got the second best.
Yeah.
Now, I know they didn't play like it at times today. They really didn't. And so
now Florida's a really good offensive program under Dan Mullen.
Yeah, I agree with that too. And I think Dan Mullen, even though he's never beaten Nick Saban, not at Mississippi State,
he's been super close.
He's come close. And I don't think he's, that's something that's a good thing. Listen, Nick Saban has beaten the SEC East 32 times in a row. He hasn't lost to him since 2010. I mean, it's the things Nick Saban is doing aren't the benchmarks people should be reaching for right now. You should be reaching for, I want to beat him just once and then see, go from there. But going back to Georgia, I think that Alabama's got an advantage at the quarterback position. I really do. I love Bryce Young. I think he's been fabulous. He's thrown for 10 touchdowns so far this year. Should have been at least one more. Slade Bolden dropped a wide open one today. And he has no turnovers so far, or no interceptions, I should say. He very rarely is sacked. I want to see him use his legs a little bit more. I think we've over-taught him not to run the ball because he is a little bit slight. But I wish that he would. I wish he would run a little bit more. Meanwhile, with Georgia, the one thing that Georgia and Alabama do definitely have in common on offense. I don't think either one of them have really found the stud running back they want. I know Alabama hasn't. Even though Brian Robinson played like a senior today, he got the tough yards when they needed it. He had a receiving touchdown and a rushing touchdown. He only had 77 yards, and he's not going to be a pretty runner. He's not Tank Bigsby. And I don't think Georgia's got dudes like that. I think they've got dudes with potential, but nobody's really stepped up. And I think that's what I'm waiting for at Alabama, too.
I think today with Georgia, we saw more receiving because James Cook, he only rushed for 20 yards. I mean, James Cook rushed for 51, Zamir White rushed for 51, and then Kendall Milton rushed for 66. Which, those guys you don't really. Kendall Milton isn't your starter. Zeus and James Cook are your starting running backs. Now, James Cook did have, I think he had two touchdowns, 2 receiving touchdowns. So, it just depends on who you use in that day. I think for Georgia, it's because Zeus is supposed to be, we always had the power back and the speed back, which James Cook has turned into our speed, and then Zeus is supposed to be our stronger guy, but Zeus doesn't. I don't know. I remember he got hurt, and I don't think he's been the same since he got hurt. We were talking about that. I was in a space today. We were talking about he's not the power we want to see. I think I want to see more power out of him, but he can get through a defense. I think he can, and I think that's what getting into to playing Alabama. If we play Alabama. That you gotta have a run game, and Alabama's front seven and Georgia's front seven both. If you look at it, those two front sevens, and you got Jordan Davis on one side. I can't think of Alabama's D tackle's name, but most people have been calling Jordan Davis the best D tackle in college football right now. So it's gonna be fun. I'll put it like that. It'll be a fun matchup to see.
Don't overlook Florida right now just yet.
Yeah, that's what I say. Yeah, because that game with Florida is in October. We're in Jacksonville. I wish it was a home series, but we're in Jacksonville. And
I think Jacksonville's getting a little old. I can't lie.
Yeah, Jacksonville's getting a lot old, man. Either move it up to Mercedes-Benz some years and flip-flop it like that, but Jacksonville's gotten old since these. I'm 20 and I've seen Jacksonville so many times. It's just annoying. Like make it different. Like we played there in the same stadium. My whole life. Like I'd rather us switch it. Like come play at Georgia and then make it a home series because that takes away college football when you're having to travel from Gainesville and Athens to come play. Like Alabama, we played Alabama at home and we played y'all. I think we play you guys in Alabama? I think we did.
Have you played you guys in Tuscaloosa? And then 15 we played you in Athens. I was there for that. And then in 2007 you played us in Tuscaloosa, and that was Nick Saban lost in overtime to Matthew Stafford and Noshawn Marino as freshmen. In fact, I think one of the more famous plays in the Georgia-Florida rivalry wasn't the pass to Lindsey
at Georgia.
Wasn't that at Georgia?
Yeah, it was. It was in Georgia. Yeah, like I'm saying, we've had big games at Georgia. I just think now we both have great stadiums. It's not like we in small stadium. Like Georgia's capacity is 92,000. I don't know how much.
And ours is 90 and a half.
Yeah, so you're not losing anything. You're not, and it makes it fun
anyway. It's about the money you get from Jacksonville.
Jacksonville makes a lot off of them.
They do. They make a lot of money.
That brings in more than all the Jaguar games.
I know. That's what I'm saying. It's if it was about just the gate, I think Florida and Georgia would play this game at home. But it's sort of like. Alabama played in Miami and Mercedes Dome like they play. You make so much money by just traveling up the road to Atlanta that it's worth it versus playing a home and home, even though the public outcries come back for we want home and home games, which is why Alabama scheduled a lot of these home and homes. I know next year Georgia has Oregon, I think, in Atlanta. And
I think we have Oregon in Atlanta next year or something like that. So I mean, I wish, like I say, I wish like we got to see Oregon at Ohio State. You know, we got to see them have their home and home, even though we didn't get the game last year. Yeah, because they're supposed to be in Oregon last year. So, now, I mean, you still got to have Oregon at Ohio State, which you don't see that a lot. That could have been a neutral site game. We could have seen that played in Cleveland or something. You know, like just something random.
Well, so Auburn Penn State tonight was a great atmosphere.
That was amazing. That was a really good atmosphere. I mean, like. That's what I say. Like Georgia would have a red out, Florida have a blue out, orange out, something like that. Like it would make it funner. I think.
Can you imagine also night games too?
Yeah, and then the night game. Like,
series.
My background. Look at like imagine a background like that versus Florida. Man.
Time for slot for that game is old too, just like Jacksonville is. I'm with you. Yeah. I would love to see that game be played at night.
Yeah, that I think I want to see Alabama and Auburn start at 7:00 instead of starting at 3:30.
We have.
I know. So 7 years you guys have been on.
We
ESPN.
have because before pre-Saban we did a lot because either one of us or both of us wasn't holding up our end of the bargain. But now post-Saban. And the fact that game has provided things like the comeback and the kick six, and even in the kick six, that game also had a 99-yard touchdown by Amari Cooper. I mean, that game was ridiculous, and so CBS loves those moments. They get huge ratings, so CBS always wants that game. In 2014, it was at night on ESPN, and that ended up being a 55-44 game. So, but it typically right now it is the CBS game, and I suspect unless Auburn falls off a cliff here, that it will be again this year. And I'm sort of like you; I'd rather it be at night. But
I think the 7, like the atmosphere, like Georgia. We all know Georgia is going to be the 3:30 game on Halloween weekend, and it's always going to be like that.
Now, something to remind ourselves of is the SEC on CBS contract does end in a couple years.
That's correct.
Yeah, it does.
So maybe we should keep enjoying it while it lasts.
That's true. Yeah.
Hey, I tell people this all the time. Let me tell you, y'all may disagree with me wholeheartedly, and maybe because I'm, probably as old as the two of you put together, not older. But I kind of like Vern Lundquist. I know he screwed up.
I loved Vern.
Yeah, I love Vern. Yeah, he gives you a good.
You know what? He loved being there, and that's what I want. And Brad Nessler's good too, but I don't want some. No offense to anybody, I don't want some Yankee or some far Westerner to come to the South and tell me how I'm supposed to watch football when it's dudes like Vern Lundquist that knew exactly what we wanted. I mean, that he was just like having your uncle sit next to you and tell you
and watching the game.
Watching the game with you.
Brent Musterberger was the same way until he made some interesting comments about the McCarron family.
Yeah, that is.
We've had some. I mean. That's why I say SEC and CBS. They've had. I mean, even the guy now. I can't think of the guy's now name, but he's not bad. I mean, he's
Brad
still
Nessler.
cool. Yeah, Brad Nessler's really. He's still good now. Like I mean,
he used to do the games with Todd Blackledge on ESPN.
That's right. Yeah.
Chris Fowler to ABC, and then when Brent Musterberger got moved to SEC, and then Chris took over, and then Brad, of course, moved over when Vern's contract ended when he retired.
And I don't know if you're old enough to remember the Alabama-Florida game in '99. In the SEC championship game, Brad Nessler was the color guy.
Was that the inaugural one?
That's wild. Wow. That
was the second SEC championship, right?
That was 1999. The one where Alabama beat Florida twice in 1 year. The first SEC title game was in '92. The one that Langham had the interception. Then, of course, '93 was in Birmingham. I was at both of those. It was cold, wet, rainy, awful, and thank God they moved it to a dome. But
right when it opened.
Yeah. So anyway, with the '99 game, Brad Nessler, I remember it pretty vividly because I was at that game too, but I used to watch it on VCR all the time where he was the play-by-play guy there. So Brad Nessler's been around for a while.
Yeah, and I think he's gonna be there for a while.
He's probably gonna retire when the network ends.
Yeah. I think CBS. I think CBS gets the SEC contract back because of what I mean. It's your CBS. Like CBS needs that contract. Let's be honest. They need. I mean, because they don't. You barely get games on the East Coast or CBS, especially down in the South. Let's be honest. We don't get the afternoon 1 o'clock games on CBS, and you're gonna
When
make
they
more
do, they're that
profit.
bad commentator, the guy that has the real high pitched voice.
Yeah. So it's not, or you're gonna get. You always get the 4 o'clock game, but you need that SEC contract because that Saturday is what people look for. That Saturday, really and truly, like when we played. I think Georgia and Auburn. We don't have the time yet. I hope it's on CBS. But I mean, all those old SEC rivalries on CBS it just feels right. Like you don't see them.
If I'm not
Yeah.
mistaken, Georgia Auburn is October 9th, which is the
Yep.
same day as Alabama A&M. And I'm willing to bet, I'm almost positive that is one of the CBS doubleheader days.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it has to be.
And I'd be willing to bet now because unless Texas A&M loses to Arkansas, which could happen, but if A&M's undefeated and Alabama's undefeated, that will be the night game, and Auburn Georgia will be the 2:30 is my guess.
Yeah, I think that'll probably, and then I think if we both all 4 of us would have been undefeated going into that weekend, I think that would have caused a lot of what people, I don't know, because people probably would have been wondering what to watch.
Being undefeated, what's that like?
What you say?
Being undefeated, what's that like?
You know, it feels good sometimes. I'm scared this week because I'm not gonna be surprised if they try to jump Georgia at 1 and then have Alabama at 2. I hope not. I pray they don't because I hate Georgia being at 1. I've always hated Georgia being at 1. They've had the worst experiences at 1. I'd rather still be 2. And if they jump us, I'd be more mad than anything because we don't.
When have you guys been number 1 though?
They were number 1 when they went to Auburn in 2017.
True.
And lost.
That week before, I think they played South Carolina, and they almost lost the game.
And almost lost to South Carolina.
I've got to hop off, but
okay, Luke.
I had a great time. I appreciate it. Great game to Florida. I mean, really, that was awesome. I like Dan Mullen a lot. Y'all got a good dude. So I hope we see one of you two guys in Atlanta.
I'm sure you will. I'm sure you don't want to see Missouri either, because that would not help Alabama's playoff at all.
Yeah, right. That's right. Yeah. All right, guys, y'all have a good night.
You too. Hey, well, we're gonna get into some of these other games.
Which games are we looking at, T?
Well, I start with my big 3. Nebraska and Oklahoma. That game was closer than I expected. I put it like that. I was expecting
the last couple of weeks though.
Yeah, Oklahoma's not Oklahoma, bro. Oklahoma's not.
See, this week they finally had the defense, but the offense isn't there. They're just not figuring it out at all.
Yeah. They're just now trying to figure it out, which, that's if I'm Oklahoma, I'm sitting there wondering, like, what's going on? Like, what is going to – because I don't think they're going to be number 3. I don't think they'll be number 3, and I think they might drop some. Well, I guess I'll start with Michigan. Michigan beat Northern Illinois 63-10. That was disgusting. Michigan State beat Miami. So now we know Miami will not be in the top 25.
Miami's
yeah, Miami is gone out the top 25 right now.
The only reason Manny Diaz had the job is his dad was a famous mayor in the city of Miami. That's all.
Which, I think he's one of the guys that's going to be on the hot seat. I'm going to get my hot seat guys in a minute. Coastal played a really close game to Buffalo, which I thought they were going to blow them out by a mile. But 28-25. West Virginia almost came back. I mean, Virginia Tech almost came back on West Virginia, but they came up short 27-21. Cincy almost lost to Indiana, which that's not good for Cincy to even think you're going to lose to Indiana. They end up winning 24-38. A&M wins 34-0 versus New Mexico.
But let's be honest, what does Cincinnati really expect? If they expect to get in the playoffs, they need to think on the
They're not gonna. That was my thing. I thought today. Like, what do you pitch if you're Cincinnati's like AD or coach? Like, hey, we've gone undefeated in the regular season. 2 years, we're about to go maybe 2 years in a row.
But UCF almost did 3.
Yeah, we're in the top 10 every year. We get a New Year's Six bowl. We won't make the college football playoffs, so you won't play for a national championship. But, we took Georgia to the wire last year. Like, you can't pitch that. You can't pitch Cincinnati. I mean, you can pitch we're going to be top 10, but I don't know, man. That's a hard That's a hard thing to pitch. Like, you can't pitch that school very well. So, and then you almost lose to Indiana. Like, Indiana played a great game. They gave up at the end. Of course, Notre Dame, Purdue played 27-13. Purdue really and truly gave this game. Purdue should have won this game. Notre Dame.
I love this shirt.
Oh, man. Yeah. What year is that?
Last year.
Oh, okay. Iowa beat Kent State. I don't think that was a surprise. Of course, Florida, Alabama. Clemson is not Clemson. I think that's another school that's not the same. I don't know what happened.
That doesn't help your guys' odds at all.
It doesn't. It really doesn't. But
they beat a Tech team by 6 today, right?
Yeah.
Which again lost to Northern Illinois, who's all right, but that team got beat by Michigan.
Yeah.
And Michigan, I'm sorry to Don, who's our boss here over at FILA. Michigan's dead.
Yeah.
Like, Michigan's not Michigan. So
I think Michigan has a chance this year to do something. But I think Michigan State is going to be Big Brother this year. I don't know why, but I feel it.
See, every year that little brother wins that rivalry. I don't know what it is. That Michigan, it's one of the, there's always those couple rivalries like TCU, Texas, Michigan State, Michigan. There's always like those couple of little interstate rivalries that are like tier 2 on the rivalry spectrum, and it's the little brother that always wins.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know why.
Get into Ohio State beat Tulane up today, which we knew that was going to happen. Arkansas beat up on Georgia Southern. Georgia won 40-13. And Penn State won 28-20. That was a great game. And then Oregon beat Stony Brook 48-7. Or then UNC beat Virginia 59-39. And that game was close at one point. Jesus. Mississippi's probably gonna beat Tulane. It's 47-21. And I told you guys last night, hammer the over, and I think they're already at the over. This was the one game I said
it was like a quarter with no scoring. It was the early in the second. It was 40-21. So there was a period of like very little scoring.
Yeah, I think I was telling people to go the over. I got to see what the over under was because I think it was something close. The over under was 76.5. I think I think Tulane got a couple touchdowns. They'll hit it. They'll hit that.
BC beats Temple 28-3.
Yeah. BYU is up 21-7 at the half. Iowa State went all the way out to UNLV. They're up 21-0. And then Fresno State is beating UCLA right now 20-10. Man, I don't know what to say about that. And I don't like UCLA.
What channel is that? That must be on Fox. I'm watching the end of the Boise State game.
Yeah, I think it's on FS1. I think that game's on FS1.
Boise State's on FS1.
Okay, so I don't know what's on. I don't know what's it on. It might not be on Fox.
Have you hit on the Virginia Tech or West Virginia game today? That was really good. And I picked the West Virginia upset in my pick 'em, and I can say I'm very happy about that pick now.
I think I chose Virginia Tech because I thought, they started the year off strong.
Yeah.
So I was
There's always those ACC teams that do that. They start off strong and then they just kind of fizzle.
North Carolina's done it a couple years in a row. Duke did it with what's his name?
Fumble.
Duke.
I think he was down, but as of now, Boise State is running into the end zone and they have the lead with 3:16 remaining.
That's a little if OSU loses today, they're on UCLA is on Pac-12, the Pac-12 channel. That's crazy. I hope
they can put them on their games now because if they get good later in the year, they'll put them on ESPN.
Yeah, it's hard to win. Everybody says it's hard to win on that blue turf.
Yeah. Are you excited to win? Are you excited to see a possible Oregon UCLA game?
I'm ready for that game. I really want to see DTR. What DTR? Oh no, that's a fumble.
I want to see the Pac-12 get good again. Honestly.
Yeah, I want to see the Pac-12 be good. I really do. I
think
they need to be good.
Period where they were good. Oregon was up there, USC. Stanford. Had
Everybody
a couple
was
really
good at
years.
one point. That whole everything. I mean, every team it was a competitive league. Let's put it like that.
Yeah, Utah had been good.
Yeah, really and truly. And then people
Arizona
just
had some good years. Washington had some good years.
Scooby Wright was really the heartbeat of that team. I'll put it like that.
Which team?
Arizona. When Scooby Wright was there at Arizona, I
I
remember
love
that.
that game.
Yeah, Scooby Wright was their DN. I'm gonna get into. I'm gonna go ahead and talk about Georgia. I'm gonna get into this Georgia game. Georgia's 3-0. Played South Carolina. We finally gave up a touchdown today. And it was on a bomb, so I'm not really mad about it.
Was it a garbage time bomb?
Yeah, bro. It was like I think they scored. It was in the fourth quarter, bro. We had put up. We literally 14 in the fourth quarter, 12 in the second quarter, third in the fourth quarter. Yeah, because we got a safety in the second. 14 in the third quarter, and then they scored one touchdown in the seventh. And really and truly, I don't even remember when the touchdown was. I wish I could see the game log. But yeah, it wasn't like it was like a it was. I don't even think our starters win. So I mean, it just was like, why was I think nobody really cared about it. But
I'm starting to rethink the Florida Georgia game just a tad. I was saying for quite a while that I thought you guys would beat us by a good amount this year, but I'm not so sure about that game anymore.
I think if our defense is the same, and then we're getting healthier. If Darnell Washington and Tyke Smith are back, I don't know about Pickens, but I know those two will be back hopefully by that game. It's gonna be a fight. Kentucky's 2-3-0. I know they probably haven't played anybody. They're gonna go 4-0 because they're playing South Carolina next week. Well, I mean, not say that they might not actually, but they're 3-0. I mean, they played Louisiana, Monroe, Missouri, and then they played Chattanooga. And really and truly, they almost lost to Chattanooga. Whoa, that was 23-28. So
yeah, that's what I was saying a little bit ago. No,
yeah, that's not good for them. In any scenario, that's not good for them. But yeah,
what's Missouri's rank?
Missouri is, I think they're
Missouri is
2-1. Yeah, they're 2-1.
Yeah, that Missouri actually might end up being pretty big.
Yeah, I think we got some. I mean, we have some schools. I mean, SEC's gonna be good. They'll probably all make both. They got to play Boston College next week. Then they'll play Tennessee. Like Missouri's schedule doesn't make any sense. Like they play Kentucky. You get 3 exhibition games, of course, but they got like 4 exhibitions because they're playing North Texas October 9th. So yeah, I guess that'll be homecoming for them. Or South Carolina will be homecoming. Well, y'all should be by standards. Y'all are the last home game, so y'all should be senior day, but it probably won't be like that. But yeah, I think my only thing if we go into Georgia's game, I mean, there's not a lot to say. JT Daniels came back 23 of 31, 303 yards, 3 touchdowns, and 1 interception. And the interception wasn't even, I mean, it was really the receiver's fault on the interception. So, I mean, what you can say? What'd you say?
Do you like that Shane Bieber hire? He's like he might actually be a decent coach. I can't lie.
Yeah.
I know it's only been 2 games, but
I think people don't understand about I mean, you remember JT came back from it. This is like after injury. He got hurt last week.
Yeah.
Supposedly it was a rupture. I don't know if it was a ruptured or a torn oblique, but he took last week off. And I was thinking, ooh, that wasn't a good hit. I was thinking they were gonna, give him some minutes off or something like that, but they put him in full game, and he played the full game. He can't be mad about that. He showed out. So And yeah, I think there's not a lot of other schools. This will be a shorter episode because I don't think there's a lot of other schools I want to talk about.
I want to talk about why Mike Gundy got rid of his mullet.
Did he get rid of the mullet?
Yeah, they just showed him, and he's pretty much clean cut. Look at him.
Oh, Jesus, he did get rid of the mullet.
I don't know if I like it or I don't like it.
I don't like it. I don't think I like it. But yeah, I think that's about it for this week.
Uh-oh.
No, that was a horrible throw.
If I'm boys to stay here, I got to start draining clock. Because even
Yeah.
if you don't score, you at least go up and you drain.
You get a field goal. Yeah, they're gonna mess themselves up. They keep trying to throw. But yeah, I don't think there's any other schools. Top 25 will come out Tuesday. I think Tuesday or Monday or something like that. And we'll see what happens with Georgia. We'll see what happens with all these other schools. Fresno State is really up on UCLA right now, and I really don't know what's going to happen in that game. But yeah, anything else you got, Blake?
Man, I'm just I'm proud of my team today, but I'm also disappointed at the same time because Florida had this game in the grasp. Can't lie, I'm a little disappointed on that front. But I'm just excited that this college football season, minus Bama being Bama, is just a lot like 2007 again. It's all over the place. We don't know what the heck's going on. And that's fine, because for the last 5 or 6 years, it's been 90% you could predict everything.
Yeah. Really and truly. I think everybody likes this Alabama team this year because you don't know what they are.
And the one thing is, the last few years, they've been plug and play at quarterback, as in, like, they had Tua for a year and a half, Mac for a year. They had Jalen for a year and a half, but Bryce is going to have to stay for 3 years unless, of course, he decides to transfer or, knowing Alabama, they'll just get somebody out from behind him.
Yeah.
But I'm interested to see what they what teams figure out to do to plan for him for 3 years. I don't know if you saw that graphic there, TJ, for just a second. Did you see Georgia was top 6 in the country since 2000 in winning percentage? They're 84.5%.
That's ridiculous.
It seems about right. You guys rarely ever lose at home. It's like once every 3 years, it seems like.
Yeah, so But I want to say I want to thank Archie Manning for coming to the game tonight.
How y'all ain't getting him?
Hey, all right.
You already got Brock in stock. You don't really need him.
We don't, but do we want him? Yes. So this is loaded up. And he might beat them 2 guys out. You never know. Yeah. So
I want to see him go to either Clemson or Ole Miss.
I don't think he's gonna go to Clemson. I think I can see him. And I definitely don't think he's going to Ole Miss. I don't think that
Matt Corral? What's Matt Corral's class?
He's this year. Matt Corral is this year.
Well, is he a senior?
Yeah, I think he's a senior. Yeah. So I just don't see Archie going. I really don't see Archie going to Ole Miss.
Is he a 2022 commit or is he 2023?
2023.
He's younger than me? Good God.
Yeah, he's 2023. He's 6'4", mind you.
I'm a failure,
yeah. I mean, we're getting into classes like deep. Like, bro, I was like, we're already at 2023. I was like, Jesus. Yeah, we're at that point in time. So, yeah, I think I don't have anything else. If Archie comes to Georgia, I will be the first one to report it. I might scream and yell if it happens, but
he's only going to be used on big punts in this championship.
Yeah, no, I don't think so. Yeah, he'll get played. No, that's somebody that will get played.
That kick is blocked.
He missed it. Wow.
And they used a timeout. They sold.
Yeah, that's game. Wow, that's crazy.
Well, that was
but yeah, we'll see. Get to see see you guys next week. I will be back. Next week's, I don't know what's the ABC game next week. I have to look. Actually, let me do that.
I'll decide that till I think Monday.
Yeah, let me see.
I'm thinking it's gonna be the which game was it? I say I know it, but then I comes to a blank. I don't think it was an SEC game.
No, I don't think it's gonna be an SEC game either.
They might go to game day for an SEC game because they haven't yet. But
let me see. What is next Saturday? The 25th. At 8:00. Well, no, It'll be West Virginia at Oklahoma.
Nah, they've gone to that game day a couple times, and they try to hype up West Virginia to win that game.
Yeah, but it's the ABC game, so usually that's where they go.
That's so stupid though, because in the last decade, 2 or 3 times they've gone to Morgantown, and this year you said it's in Norman.
Yes, in Norman.
Yeah, the last couple of years they've gone to when it's been in Morgantown, they've gone there to hype up West Virginia to win that game, and they just fall apart late. I don't understand how.
Yeah, they give you the ABC. They at least give you like the ABC games for the next week. So the ABC next week will be Texas Tech at 3:30, Texas Tech at Texas, and then 7:30 is West Virginia at Oklahoma.
Big noon kickoff is Notre Dame at Wisconsin, who's 1-1.
Yeah, I want to see that. I want to see that game. And then I don't know the late night the ESPN. Yeah, the ESPN game at 7 is Navy. Oh no. Oh, it's Tennessee at Florida at 7.
Why? That's gonna be an absolute clobber. I guess I'll take it, but I mean,
it's a couple. I don't know. It's they have Virginia. Unless at 10:30, and then it's Thursday is Virginia. Yeah. So, yeah, you guys are the 7:30 game on Saturday.
Do you think that you think there's a world where Florida doesn't drop more than one?
It has to. You have to be Georgia. You had to go through Georgia.
No. You think there's a chance that we don't drop more than just one game? I'm sorry, more than one place. We're number 11 going into today. I hope they don't drop us to like 16. That would be ridiculous.
I don't think. Let me go look.
I personally think we should have been number 9 or 10 going into the week already. So
yeah, Mike Conti did his. I think he put you guys. I don't think you guys dropped it all. But if you go look. Right now, you guys are at 11. All
I know is we still control our own destiny. We have to win out.
You have to win out now.
You have to win you guys.
You got to win the East.
Yeah, and then we'd have to play Bama again. But,
yeah.
Hey, it showed we can beat them.
Yeah, I mean, you guys could. It just So right now, I think Clemson needs to drop, really and truly.
Oh, they need to go down at least to 10.
They don't even. I don't think they need to be top 10, man. I think they haven't done anything spectacular.
I mean, how much they beat the team by last week? South Carolina State, wasn't it like 24-3 or something like that?
No, they beat them bad. They beat them a lot, but it still was like okay. And South Carolina State, so my thing is for Clemson, they need to go down. A&M can go up. Well, really and truly, A&M needs to stay at 7. Since he can stay at 8 for me.
Okay.
Penn State
spot.
might jump top 6. I think Penn State might go up to 6. Which is like a lot of people down. I think Clemson drops, man. I think Clemson can be top 25. I mean, not top 25. They can't be top 10. They can't. You guys are probably dropped to maybe 13.
Oh man.
Because if UCLA loses, then you guys probably. But yeah,
see, I thought we should have been top 10 going into the week. I felt like we at least number 9.
I thought you guys would have been top 10 this week. I mean, they jumped Oregon to 4, so that was my thing. It was like, well, okay, then what's the difference?
Yeah.
Now, in the coaches poll, you guys are at 9, and now I think the coaches poll, you guys will drop low.
Can you imagine if they all of a sudden bring in a conference championship for the Independents and be like, what?
Yeah.
And Notre Dame will be like, who are we beating this year? Army or BYU? Oh, Massachusetts? Bet.
Yeah. So, I mean, that'll just – the Independents really – so, Michigan, if they won today, so they'll go up. Arkansas will go up.
It's just an everlasting doom until they get killed by Penn State or Ohio State.
Yeah, really and truly. Miami's out. Auburn's out. Auburn probably will drop to like 25.
Yeah.
BYU wins. They'll probably jump to top 15 or top.
That's 2 good wins for BYU.
Yeah, I think
quarterback too. They didn't give him some respect for that. Their quarterback just got drafted number 2 overall.
Yeah. So, Oklahoma State's gonna get out here with the win.
Oh my God, they're storming the blue field. I know that's not really an upset, but when you're on a blue field, you gotta storm it.
You gotta storm it. I think that's it. I think there's not a lot of people. There's not a lot of other things that Wisconsin, did they win today?
I don't think so. I can't tell. I know they were 1-1, so I don't know if they lost last week. Then more than likely.
Let me go look real quick.
Bro,
What's
while you're on that, I want to say the Braves East lead is down to 1 game.
Yeah, let's not even talk about that before I throw up. Really and truly, that
Making me
was
sick.
disgusting. They make
Like
me
6
sick.
months just to blow it.
They make
Hey, I
me
was
sick.
hoping the Braves would at least go a little bit into the playoffs because that would get us to like the October 8th, 9th, 10th, and the Hawks start the
Yeah,
16th. So that was what I was hoping for because the
I'll
good
be
thing
stuck on
about when
football.
the good thing about your baseball and basketball teams being good in your city, right, is that it takes up the whole calendar year because those are the teams that run parallel October to April and then April to October.
Yeah,
So,
but knowing the Braves, we probably won't even make the playoffs this year, and that's depressing. Um,
no, I guess after all we went through, it's reasonable.
I mean, this year was horrible. This year was absolutely
I picked
horrible.
us to win it all, honestly. And I don't usually do that with my teams, like, honestly.
I
I said,
thought
this
we
is
were
it.
too. This year was. I thought we were destined to win it all.
We
Then
fixed
Ozuna
everything.
gets taken out. Then what's the other guy? Who else got taken? Then Ronnie tears his ACL.
Yeah.
And I watched that live. It was so bad when he did it because I watched it live and I knew what it was. That was the sad part. I was like, yeah,
Yeah,
Ronnie's gone. I was watching that game live and I said, Ronnie's gone.
Dansby's had a bad year. Freddie's on a contract year.
And he's talking about potential free agency. I will scream. I will absolutely scream at Freddie.
I wouldn't be surprised if he goes to the Angels. That's his hometown team, and Albert Pujols is off a contract.
Yeah. I will absolutely, I will promise you, that I will walk up to Alex Anthopoulos and slap him across his face if that's the
He,
case.
see, he's smart with the little mini deals, but he doesn't have the guts like Travis Schlenk.
He
Travis
doesn't.
Schlenk has it both. Travis
Travis
Schlenk
Sling
has
doesn't
the
care.
finesse. Yeah. Travis Schlenk has the ability to finesse smaller things, like get extra second round picks and salary cap, but he doesn't. He also has the, excuse my language, balls to be able to make the big moves. Unlike Alex Anthopoulos, he's like, oh, I'll take a flyer on Jorge Soler. I'll take Drew Smiley for a year to fill the rotation, but no, I won't lock up Freeman for 6 years. And another reason I'm sure he won't do that is he finally locked up a player long term this year, right? Marcell Ozuna. Well, how'd that turn out?
Yeah.
So,
Well, our owners are different too, but
media.
yeah, we're not gonna talk about them. I don't really want to get into the subject of them. But yeah, you guys, we're gonna go ahead and get out of here.
Thanks for having me on, TJ.
Hey, always, man, always. Thank you guys for coming in. Who I was in here watching, thank you guys. But yeah, I think that's it. Except Friday night, guys, I will be back. Actually, I think I'll be back Tuesday for the Falcons depth chart for game 3 of the week. And yeah, so hopefully the Falcons get a win tomorrow, and we'll have at least a better weekend than the Braves just disappointing us.
As I said, I'm all for the rebuild this year. I don't think it's a complete scale rebuild. I said this on Kings Run last week. I'm thinking more of a 2-3 year finish the rebuild policy, and by that point, the Saints will be in cap hell. Grady, you would think, would be almost ready to hang it up, and it'll just be us and the Panthers ready to do it out. That's what I see realistically. This team still has holes, and it's going to take a couple of years, realistically, if we do it right to fill it. And I'm fine with that.
It's got to be a retool.
No.
I don't think. I think.
See, we've fallen for that the last couple of years, honestly.
Well, with the coaching we've had, I don't.
And I felt this year, I know everybody was talking in the middle of the offseason, like, oh, your star players are young. I'm like, well, that's the reason they're stars. I said, I'm personally just hoping to see progression this year in the areas that we need it. I'm not looking for contention. I'm just, if we get wins, so be it. But I'm a realist. I'm still going to watch every game. But I'm realistically hoping for 5 or 6 wins this year.
Well, I think it just depends on what we want. If we make the playoffs, we make the playoffs. If we don't, we don't. It's Trey Young's
Let's just hope we
birthday.
don't win at the end of the year again.
I forgot today. Today, I think today is Trey Young's birthday.
Is it? It's either today or tomorrow.
It's today. Well, it's midnight now. So, yeah, it's today. Happy birthday, Trey Young.
He enjoyed an early birthday gift at the Oklahoma game.
Yeah, and Oklahoma won today, so he's probably happy.
Hey, his little brother streams on Twitch, FYI.
Yeah, he does a lot. I've seen that.
You watch him?
I've seen it. I haven't watched him, but I know he streams with his brother. I know Trey be on there sometimes. So, But yeah, we're gonna go ahead and get out of here. Thank you guys. That's it. Peace.